Sit down and watch, then have a talk with Jennifer and Josh.
Hey guys, it's Josh alongside Jennifer, and this is it. Finding Mr. Christmas, Season 2, Episode 8, the finale. We are going to talk about it all. So we're going to recap the finale episode, what we thought, what we liked, who winds up winning. Yes, we are going to talk all about it in this particular episode, but we got to start with an elimination, Jennifer, that I think we saw coming. At the end of the last episode, we said goodbye to Marcus. I hated to see him go because I like him as a person, but I think we have three solid competitors who are probably just a little bit better suited for the job of Mr. Christmas on Hallmark Channel. What about you?
Agreed. So Angel won the Star Quality Challenge, the acting challenge with Sharon Lawrence, which surprises me because I honestly was the least moved by his performance, but what do I know? So
Mm.
Angel won, so Angel was guaranteed to go to the finale, then Rustin and Craig, and then Marcus was eliminated. So here we are, Rustin, Angel, Craig in the finale. Jonathan Bennett walks in with Christopher Palaha because the bros are broing out. Let's add another bro to the mix. We just
Come
saw him
on.
at a Grand Ole Opry Christmas. Always happy to see him. And he's telling them that it's their job as a leading man to make the leading woman feel loved and pretty and to make them feel safe and supported. And so that is your job, leading man. They're going to do a scene at a train station. So I think this is kind of how they did it last year, but this was like production leveled up. It's 3 parts. So the first scene is the leading man is going to run into a train station, and they're kind of in period piece garb from I don't know what era, old-timey
Old-timey.
train days. Kinda
Train
like
days.
Downton Abbey-ish. So
Very.
they run into the train station, they interact with Melissa Peterman, they're looking, where's the train to Boston? And she tells them where to go, more to come on that. Scene 2 is the guy running down the platform and jumping through physical hoops and packages and things to get to the leading lady, and then the last scene will be, with Erik Krakow as the leading lady and this emotional, "Don't leave me, I love you" kind of scene. So, what were your thoughts about this whole it's called Next Stop Love is what they were
Next
calling
Stop
it.
Love. Well, I was
Would you
here
watch
for it.
Next Stop Love?
I don't know. Not usually one for a period piece, but, I was interested in it for that most part. I had to laugh, though, because Christopher Palaha comes out at the start of this and he's offering all kinds of compliments and encouragement to these guys. And he gives them this advice: listen and respond, which I think is advice for any man in a relationship. I was like, oh, actually, I'm going to take that away from myself. Listen and respond. And then I had to laugh because they do this huddle where they're just going to kind of bro out and kind of get ready for the day. And they put their hands in and they say, on 3, I'm going to shine. And I'm like, I don't know that I have ever been in a huddle with other bros and said, I'm going to shine. Like, that's just, it's a bit much. Yeah,
Yeah, I don't know where that came from, but,
Yeah.
we're
And
just
then you
very
got to
pure
mention,
with this reality TV. Yeah.
very pure. You got to mention, too, that the last part of this whole thing ends with a Hallmark kiss. So this is their big moment, which I was glad. In season 1, they put so much stock into this moment with the kiss, and they actually rehearsed it and talked about the nuance of a Hallmark kiss and all of that sort of stuff. This was very much just kind of like, just kiss her and be done with it, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
So, yeah.
whatever. Yeah, well, yeah, season 1, weren't there 3 scenes all filmed at the
Mhm.
Bro Mansion, right? So
At the
now
Bro
we've got
Mansion,
we've
yeah.
got props. They have McLean Nelson is the director, and so each guy is gonna get 2 takes. So they'll do their first attempt, McLean's gonna give them direction and notes, and part of how they'll be scored internally is how they take the notes and respond and incorporate it into the second take. He directed A Killer Christmas Vacation and the Haul Out series, so definitely a fan of his work. All right.
Yeah, he knows what's up.
So, scene 1 again, it's the male running into the train station looking for his girl, and they're gonna throw a curveball at the guys. Melissa Peterman is the ticket seller lady, the train ticket lady, but she's gonna get to do improv and kinda just throw some whatever at them to see how they respond. Angel goes first. I thought he was and they say it too, he's very sweet and there wasn't enough urgency. He was just like, "Yes, please tell me where the train station is." And they're like,
Mhm.
"No, it needs to be like, you're fighting for your life, you're fighting for your girl." Craig, I really enjoyed in this because he riffs with Melissa Peterman really well.
Mhm.
And then Rustin was good too, but he kinda had a blocking issue. He drifted a little bit out of frame, so they kind of corrected him on that. But all the
Mhm.
guys take direction well, and we're on to scene 2. So scene 2, again, the lead guy's running down the platform, and we get Jonathan Bennett is the conductor, or I don't know,
Sure.
the
Yes.
the train guy who's like, "All
Train guy with
aboard."
hat and all aboard. Yeah.
Yeah, very Polar Express. There's luggage flying. There's a ladder that they have to dodge. And then they're running through a city banner. And then they kind of stumble into Christopher Palaha. And they're like, "I'm sorry, sir. The love of my life is about to board this train." He's like, "I've been there, man. Go get your girl." And it was, I
Loved
don't
it.
know. Was it supposed to be like Biltmore-ish of him
I
to say
think
that?
so. Yeah. I think that's what they were trying to do there. I loved this middle part because it was fun because the first part was all about how do you respond to spontaneity and a surprise. The second part is all about the physicality and how do you sell that in the right way, because the big thing was you don't want it to be too action movie ish. You want it to be more motivated by I got to go get the girl kind of thing. And so it can be a little bit more comedic and fun. And then the third part is obviously all about selling the romance of it all.
Mm-hmm. Um, our Angel was nervous, and his first take was too action focused. Which this is miles ahead of what they've been doing. They have not
For
had to do
sure.
anything like this so far. So there's way more that's thrown at them. I don't know how much time they had to rehearse this, but my gosh, I hope it was a decent amount of time. But they're just kind of thrown in. So and then Angel, oh, they said it was not enough. And not enough like a love struck guy because he was focused on hitting his mark. So he kind of corrected there. Rustin was just okay, I think, and Craig was last, and he rushed through it too fast. But I did put at this point in viewing, I think I'm Team Craig.
Mm.
I'm just gonna say it. I think, and it's been a journey for me this season with Craig. I think before the last scene, I'm putting my flag in Team Craig. Who was your lead at this point in time?
I was probably still Team Rustin. I think that I've been very high on Rustin for the past couple of weeks. It seemed like he was very much kind of leading the way. I noticed Craig Angel wasn't necessarily doing it for me as a leading man in
Yeah,
this particular
no.
challenge. Yeah.
I think, and again, I think Angel struggles with he's kind of one note and he does it well, but anything outside of that is a struggle for him, I think. So.
Mm-hmm.
The last
Mm-hmm.
scene is the Aaron Craig Cal kiss scene, the "Don't leave, I love you" kind of thing. Rustin's up first, and I don't know if he forgot a line or he messed up. He got all in his head on this one, which we haven't seen.
Mm-hmm.
He's been very consistent and predictable
Very.
and, like you said, doing very well. And he kind of got thrown off a little bit, and it was hard for him to recover, but he did recover on his second take. It was better. Craig is up next. I think he went in too early on the kiss. I don't know, something kind of felt like that. But I wrote that his second take was amazing because, again, I'm Team Craig at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Angel's up last, and he's so sweet, but I think, like I said, his range is just like, it's just sweet. It is sweet and teary. And they're like, You're almost making it too sad," kind of like with the Sharon Lawrence thing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I wanted him to have passion and fight too. And wasn't feeling that. He does take off his hat because he's a gentleman, though, which is something the other 2 guys didn't do. I think Angel was good at those kind of things, those subtle things because he has acted before, the things that aren't on paper that he just kind of intuitively does, I do think is a strength for him. So,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's pouring rain after the shoot, the judges and the director debrief, and now it is time to crown the winner. So, at this point in time, who did you think was going to win? Not even who you wanted to win. If you're Team Russ and
Right.
I'm Team Craig, who did you think was going to win?
Honestly, based on the feedback that I got from there, I thought that this was going to be Rustin because it seemed like they were very high on him. Although I'll be honest, the fact that they mentioned that he was usually so consistent and suddenly not sort of led me to believe maybe not. But that's where I was. What were you thinking?
I wrote at this point in time, live viewing, I think Craig wins. I thought it was him. They just seemed more like they seemed to light up more talking about him than they did with Rustin. And
Hmm.
I don't know why, because Rustin was great, but there seemed to be a little more of a twinkle in Jonathan Bennett and Melissa Peterman's eyes for Craig for some reason. So
Hmm.
they say the winner is a guy who has grown, adapted, and always added a piece of themselves into the characters he's played. He is kind on and off screen, and drumroll please, Craig wins.
Craig wins.
Craig wins.
Yeah.
Can you believe it? Snow's falling, and I am good with it. I'm good.
Yeah.
How are you? What are your thoughts? You can be honest.
I'm absolutely good with it. And I'll tell you why. They showed us that final scene put together as sort of the big close. And I was like, absolutely, I can see it. Because I said, several weeks ago that I thought Craig was kind of like Paul Campbell. And I think that it still is very true to form. I think that he has kind of that similar charisma, similar timing, similar pacing, similar sense of humor. And I think that it's just a good bet. It's a good, safe choice for the network. And I think that he will do well. What about you?
Like I said, I was so low on Craig early in the season because it felt like he was rapping at every challenge. I think it was only 2 weeks in a row, but that was like 1 week too many. I was afraid he was like just so Mr. Chuckles and not taking it seriously that I thought he'd be more suited for like a B character who would be like the supportive friend or the funny friend. But the past few weeks, it really he made me a Team Craig believer. And like you said, I see it when you saw the whole scene put together. I am surprised by him in a good way, and I'm excited to see where this thing takes him next because last year at the end of season 1, I was not this optimistic with the winner, okay?
No. And
Sure,
I've got to,
sure he was a great person, but I was not thrilled with the outcome. And this, I can't complain. So,
yeah, I think that he has much more potential than what we saw out of season 1. And I think they're very smart to not rush it. And I think that that was what they learned from season 1. They rushed it to get him into a movie that was going to air this season. And they're not doing that with Craig this time around. And so I think we will see him in 2026, which is going to give them time to do more coaching, get him more lessons, get him more comfortable, and really try to foster something that is, in fact, I think what they're trying to go for. That's my sense here. What do you think?
yeah, because they've said all along now, well, I think in the beginning it was kind of vague, but recently they've been saying that the winner would be a lead in a holiday movie on Hallmark. They didn't even say Christmas. So he
Mm-mm.
might be in a Valentine's movie, in a 4th of July movie. There's a lot of holidays. They might put him in a Arbor Day movie. Who knows? Just to get more eyeballs on a movie off season because people who follow the show will be excited to see him, I think. So we'll see what happens. Or you're right. They may just, hey, they're already filming Christmas movies for next year. So maybe he does show up in a Christmas movie next year. It seems like that would be too big of a gap. I worry people will forget about him. But what do I know? They know more than I do. So we'll see. I'm excited for him and excited to see where things take him. So
And I'm
that's
going to put
it.
it out
We
here.
found
I
another
think
Mr. Christmas.
we did, and I think we should put it out here. We're going to try our best to reach out to Craig and see if we can land an interview with him and talk a little bit about this journey and talk a little bit about what's next for him and see if we can bring him on the podcast and all of that sort of thing.
Love that.
We'll make that effort. And that, dear friends, is another episode of Do You Watch What I Watch?
Thank you all for being here and listening. If you're really into not the movies, but the other Hallmark subsequent content, I just started watching, what is it, The 12 Dates of Christmas with Mae Whitman. It's a scripted series, but
Yeah.
her friend sets her up for 12 blind dates around the holidays. And, it's really good. I've only seen one episode, but it's really good so far. It's got heart, it's got humor. But it's also a very different tone than most Hallmark stuff, but not in a bad way. We loved Mistletoe Murders. Josh has watched Bake with Love with Tamara Mallory Housley, which is a reality show. So there's lots of other content out there to sink your teeth into. Check it out. Let us know your thoughts on any of it, either in the comments below on YouTube or on our Instagram.
Absolutely. And you can find links to everything about our podcast on our website at doyouwatchwhatiwatch.com. And if you're checking us out on YouTube, go ahead and pop that like button. And if you're listening to us on your favorite podcast platform, hey, how about a 5-star review and a nice review? That would help bring our podcast in front of more eyeballs, which is all about what we're trying to do here. Just spread more joy at the holiday season. We've got a lot of great content coming your way as we march our way toward Christmas. But until we see you next time,
May your days be merry and bright. Bye, y'all.